What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Buff, so you can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only, is Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, what's happening, buddy?
Oh, I'm moving from one game to the other, trying to clear my plate off because we got a lot coming up.
There's a ton going on. It's almost the holiday season, which means we're about to shut down for 2 weeks. That's right. You'll miss us for a while, but we'll be back on January 3rd, bringing you the hottest in gaming news again, where you can always join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube at Inside the Game Official. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later, InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, coming up on today's show, GTA 6 rumors are worrying fans. We have the release date for a horror game, Scorn, you may have heard of that one, and Nintendo is getting one of the best trilogies around. Are you ready to get going with some GTA? Dude, if we get to everything today, we have a lot of GTA stuff to talk about.
Well, it sounds good. Let's jump into it because, GTA's a big deal. 6.
Certainly is. 6 new GTA 6 rumors about Grand Theft Auto has fans worried. This comes from Tyler Fisher over at comicbook.com. A new GTA 6 rumor has Grand Theft Auto fans worried. It's been 8 years since GTA 5. Please don't remind us already. And 3 years since Red Dead Redemption 2. The expectation is that GTA 6 will be revealed soon. I'm going to stop right there. Scott, do you expect anything to be revealed about GTA 6 at all in the near future?
No, I'm really not holding my breath because it's going to be quite a while now, I think. And I made the joke earlier. I think we'll have GTA 6 somewhat after the PS6.
Yeah.
If you had to ask me, that's my prediction.
I think we'll be in the next generation consoles at this time, but we'll see what happens. But it sounds like these expectations may be off the mark because according to the aforementioned rumor, the game is having development issues. Ouch. Here we go. And as you may know, this isn't the first suggestion of this. The new rumor comes the way of ACC NGT, Account Nugget, I'm going to call that, who was at the forefront of Star Wars Eclipse leaks before the game was announced this week at the Game Awards. Dude, Star Wars Eclipse looks incredible. It's by Quantic Dream, and I'm damn excited for that one, man. I can't wait. But according to the leaker, the development of the game has been chaotic. To this end, it's noted that they believe that many aspects of the game are shaping up to be a disappointment. Ouch. The leaker doesn't go into many specifics in this regard, but does drop the story of a source of disappointment. Unfortunately, this is the extent of the rumor, but it's enough to have some Grand Theft Auto fans worried. Again, this isn't the first time this person's claimed this. This is a rumor. Scott, we have high expectations coming out of Rockstar. How worried are you about this rumor?
Well, I'm worried about the whole idea of GTA 6 finally coming down after all these years of hype, literally a decade plus of hype, and it's just going to be I feel like it's going to be hard to live up to any of that. But if this rumor is to be believed, the story is the issue, that's unfortunate because a lot of people are going to think, well, who cares, it's just the story. But that's something that gripped me really hard in GTA 5. It was something that was really interesting.
No, absolutely.
So I hope they have time on this infinite timeline of development that they can fix that up.
Hopefully they get sorted out if this rumor is proven to be true. The biggest thing is, dude, Rockstar is just one banger hit after another. So eventually you think they have to fall. But do they really need to? Can they keep that momentum going? They've been so successful for so long. Well, like yesterday, we talked about how Red Dead Redemption fans for the online component are a little disappointed in the fact that we don't get any content. Because why? Because they're working on GTA 5 online content still. Because that's such a moneymaker. At this point, dude, they really don't need to even make a GTA 6. Keep putting out content, update the game, maybe give us some new adjustments to the game mechanics. That's my biggest problem now. Jumping back into an 8-year-old game, Scott. The control scheme,
to look aged.
Right? The control scheme alone, though, is chunky. That's the problem. It feels weighted. It doesn't feel as smooth as what we get when even in Red Dead Redemption. So to have that be updated. I know the remastered is coming. And that's the other thing. Dude, we're getting a remaster, and we've seen the trilogy remaster suck.
Yeah,
Tank this
hurts.
year, right? So how confident are we right now in this case for Rockstar at all? And if these rumors continue, dude, this is going to be a bad thing. Are we going to run into another, here we go again, cyberpunk situation?
No.
Right? That's the biggest
Nobody
problem.
wants that.
No, nobody wants that, especially coming out of Rockstar. Dude, you want them to come out swinging. GTA 5 story was fantastic. First time ever, you switched between 3 characters on the fly. Like, it was revolutionary. It was fantastic. That story's cool. We're getting new content this week, actually, be with the game. Like, it's just, oh, man.
I'm worried because I feel that if they do fall, it's going to be a case of falling on your own sword, really. It is their own fault that we have such high expectations because they deliver such high quality. So, can't let it fall now.
No, so hopefully they'll be able to figure that out. Scott, let's move into the world of the skin-crawling sci-fi horror. I'm not a big fan of this.
I know. I am much more excited about this title than you are.
So, you know what? I'm going to pass this right off to you, Scott. Take it away, buddy, because this one is not for me.
Well, the long-awaited alien-inspired first-person adventure game will finally scare you next October.
Woo.
Now, this is from Tom Regan of VG247, and he goes on to state that if there is one thing you've been lacking in recent years, it's truly terrifying horror games. I think that one's aimed at you, Drew. Thankfully, you won't have to wait too much longer, as Scorn is coming to scare players silly in 2022. First revealed in 2016, Scorn has been a project that many thought would never see the light of day. Thankfully, though, it appears fans won't have to wait another 6 years for it. It is on the way to the Xbox Series XS and the PC in October. Now, have you seen any of the trailers for this one?
Yeah, I saw the trailers. So this was actually, we saw another reveal trailer for this game at the Xbox event, right? When they were getting ready to launch the Xbox Series X and S. This was one of the showpieces there for that system, that platform. And it's going to be, I think, pivotal for Xbox to have such a horror game on their platform and nowhere else, especially for this one. And it's going to gravitate for a lot of people. It obviously, we all know it does nothing for me. I can't stand the horror genre at all. Scott, how excited are you? And are you shocked by the release date of October? It is the month of Halloween.
It is. That makes sense to put it in October. I feel like I had heard this was actually delayed, but that delay into remaining in 2022 is really important because they teased this, like they said, 6 years prior from that date. So it's about time it has to come out. But it's interesting that it'll be a horror game that's exclusive because that doesn't happen very often. I think we saw The Medium.
Yeah.
But that's the first one in a long time that I can think of.
And you, Nate, reviewed that one with higher praise, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. That was an excellent title. Team Bloober really nails it.
Yeah, they certainly do. But let's get on to something that's more up my alley, Scott. Talking about Nintendo Switch reportedly getting one of the game's best trilogies. And soon. Comes from Tyler Fisher over comicbook.com once again. Nintendo Switch Lite, and the Nintendo Switch OLED are reportedly getting one of the game's best trilogies and getting the trio of games soon. Compared to previous years, 2021 has been a slow year for the Nintendo Switch, both in terms of third-party and first-party releases. Dude, we just talked about this the other day. Like, what do they have lined up for next year? Right? That's a concerning thing. That said, with the likes of the Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, Splatoon 3, Bayonetta 4. Isn't that Bayonetta 3?
I'm not certain, actually, because I'm not an expert on Bayonetta.
I'm just guessing.
There was a third one. Maybe it was on Wii U, and that's why.
Oh, that probably doesn't count then. Let's see it. Metroid Prime 4 and more in the hopper. This will change soon. Meanwhile, now it also looks like the Assassin's Creed, the Ezio Collection, is coming to the trio of the Nintendo Switch consoles. Dude, Ezio is one of the best. That's
your favorite one.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, it is. Honestly, like, Ezio is one of the most incredible characters. We've seen the iteration of Ezio from childbirth alone, Scott.
That's true.
Right? All the way up through adulthood into like an old senior to actually perishing. Like, it was, dude, if you followed that trilogy as closely as I did, it was an incredible experience. And you saw Ubisoft take this franchise and everybody fall in love. And then from there, we've seen it to where we are now with Valhalla. But if you didn't have Ezio, I don't think you'd have the Assassin's Creed you have now. It's unfortunate that we just don't have the stealth mechanic of the old Ezio days. Even though I'm excited for Nintendo fans to get a hold of this, but I want a remake of these games, Scott.
Yeah. A remake or a remaster?
No, a remake. I don't do the remaster. I don't need a high res version of this. I want a remake of the game. Give it to Blue Point, because we know they are the best studio to remake a game from the ground up, and let them build it for the next generation of consoles, and let people experience Ezio's story in the whole, man, like, going with his uncle and then turning that whole era around. And then you get the hook claw, you lose the blade, right? And then you get this hook claw instead. Oh, dude, it was so good. So good.
Oh, it did a lot for the series that just hasn't been done since the reimagining that we've recently had. But before that, it was all Ezio.
It was, absolutely it was, right? It started with Altair, and we know this, it didn't click with everybody, but it was the start of something. And then we always talk about transitions from Assassin's Creed 1 into Assassin's Creed 2 and how pivotal that was for that franchise. And we base a lot of that now going forward with others going from, okay, you know what, this is how they started, but how's the sequel going to be? Can they pull off the Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2? Because it was such a game changer. Dude, the minute you saw Ezio leap off and then go with dual blades, like, that just changed everything. And rest in peace to the multiplayer.
Yeah. Oh,
that
one hurts.
It still stings a little bit, doesn't it?
It does. I think I played that in 3, but it just wasn't the same by then.
I don't know if they'll ever repair that mechanic and bring it back, but Sony wants to repair its relationship with indie partners, Scott. The platform holder is responding to complaints by pledging to improve its communications processes and opportunities for small developers. This comes from Rebecca Valentine over at IG, and she has a huge, incredible article over there. I highly recommend you go check it out. I just took a little bit of it because it is massive. Back in July, a number of indie publishers publicly called out Sony for its apparent ongoing dismissal of the immense challenges facing small developers trying to publish games on PlayStation. While publicly Sony offered no official comment on these complaints at the time, it appears that the company is quietly listening after all, and has recently begun to take action. Looking back at our conversations with these publishers at the time, a number of key issues were brought up to light. Sony, indie publishers and developers said, had overly complex tools and forms, unclear processes, and poor communication with its indie partners when it came to getting answers, guidance, and other issues resolved. They also expressed that while discoverability was an industry-wide issue, Sony was at best indifferent or, at worst, actively adversarial to these struggles, making PlayStation a very challenging platform for indie game sales. What's more, it sounds like vocal indies who spoke up in July were not alone in feeling this way. IGN has obtained a copy of the document entitled 2021 Global Partner Survey Results, which sent out a number of Sony's partner publishers and developers as a follow-up to a survey that was conducted sometime prior. The findings document is short, only 3 pages long, and does not specifically mention the public complaints from the past summer. But it does identify 3 target areas for continued improvement based on the results of the survey, all of which directly correspond to issues the indie developers brought up in social media and in articles. Scott, that goes on to continue what they're working on from here on out. It seems like Sony now, you know what? Here's the funny thing, because we saw Xbox One get announced, right? And they were going in one path. PlayStation 4 was announced. They're heading in another direction. And on that stage for PlayStation 4 were a ton of indies. Like ton of indies. PlayStation 4 takes off, blows Xbox One out of the water, right? We all know where that lies. Like, there was no secret. PlayStation won that generation. Now, when they got so confident in what they had, and this is the biggest thing, is that honestly, PlayStation's head just got like bigger and bigger and bigger. And they pushed the indies away.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to get them back, which I think is a very smart thing. It's a very intelligent thing. And indies help you with the ebb and flow of your AAA releases, right? Of your big titles hitting your platform. So indies are very, very important to the longevity of your platform. Why would you want to tick them off in the first place? Scott, thoughts on, Sony trying to repair the relationships here?
I think it's the only good decision, really. They have to acknowledge that these people are coming up with issues, whether Sony sees it or not. It's kind of up to them to discover those and do something about it. So I think it's good that they're finally acknowledging a lot of the things that are going on and actually working towards solving some of the issue, because like you said, the indie developers, they add a lot of rejuvenation into the process, and as well as pad your release window and the catalog of things you're bringing to the console. It's really, well, you can't go without it, not in my opinion. So this is really just something they have to do on the beginnings of a brand new console generation, no less.
Well, yeah, absolutely. When we're looking for, what's our next big release? What are we going to play next? And you sit with your console as it collects dust because there's just nothing really hitting that console, including on the indie side in that case, because they have been so scarce launching on PlayStation 5 that it has been a bit of a struggle to get out there. The biggest thing is the market. How do you showcase an indie title without getting flooded by Call of Duty, Fortnite, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, all these bigger titles that are starting to make waves? How do you then showcase an indie dev and make them stand out and say, hey, don't miss this title, while get in on this title while you wait for these ones to come out and other things like that? Like, it's just, dude, there's just a point where they were the go-to platform for indies. And it's unfortunate now that they got to play this whole return to form of, we're kind of sorry about what we did. We're not all just AAA titles, and we do have this need of indies. We talk to indies all the time. They're fantastic. And the best part is, Scott, is how creative they get to be, because they're not tied to that AAA budget, that they're able to experiment and kind of test the water sometimes. And out of that, gets new mechanics that we've never seen before.
Well, they really need that help to get out into the limelight. So I really hope that this is Sony kind of adjusting that so we can get a lot more good hits.
Absolutely.
They can't all be bought up by Xbox. That's just bad business strategy right there.
It certainly is. Scott, continuing on with more PlayStation. PlayStation Now's big new game comes with a major catch. Tyler Fisher, once again, at comicbook.com, dude, is on fire today. PlayStation Now on PS4 and PS5 added new games. Unfortunately, for subscribers, the most notable of these new games comes with a fairly major catch. Each and every month, Sony updates the PlayStation Now library with several games. This month, 4 games were added, including the new remastered Grand Theft Auto 3 released with Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, the Definitive Edition. Xbox Game Pass currently has San Andreas. We all know that. PlayStation is getting GTA 3. They now have that. Here's the catch. You ready, Scott? You get it for 2 months.
Oh.
It's not sticking around long, dude. That's the biggest thing, is that it's not staying there. I wonder what deal went down then with Rockstar to get GTA 3, but could only keep it for 2 months.
Yeah, that's such a curious situation, because why 2 months, and then to even be able to advertise that that's how long you can play it? That's another move too. So that's kind of straight. I think of Game Pass. We don't know how long the games will remain on Game Pass.
No.
They're all on an individual basis, but usually they're more than 2 months.
Absolutely, more for 2 months. It's more like at least 6, right? We normally see a lot of games, I think, stick around over there for 6. I think we should check into that lifestyle. I'm definitely curious, because I know some have been there even longer, and they even often make their return. That's the other side of it too, right? We've seen some games come and go and then come back again. It was like, oh, you were just on here and now you're gone, but now you're back. So that's unfortunate. If you have it, take note. GTA 3, 2 months. So if you want to play it and get it done with, you might want to get it done now. But
yeah,
it's got more GTA news. Let's get going. GTA Online's The Contract adds new radio stations, debuts, fresh Dr. Dre beats, updates to the existing stations too. Comes from Sandy Barker over at Push Square. GTA Online is getting a new radio station this week as Rockstar rolls out The Contract on, today, December 15th. A huge new expansion featuring protagonist Franklin Clinton. Dude is back. I just Scott, you gotta help me out, dude. You gotta join me so we can play.
Oh, I'm super into that. I didn't remember that his last name was Clinton. That's
no, me either. Dude, all that mattered was it was Franklin, Mike, Michael, and Trevor, and that's all I cared about. I didn't know what their last names was.
Who's your favorite character?
Trevor.
Yeah, okay.
The dude's just so
I think that's
chaotic.
the only good answer.
He's reckless, man. Yeah, no, Michael and his snobby family. I'd just run them all over with my car. His family, that whole situation, I thought was fantastic at the time. But I'm like, man, I don't like any of you people. So I like Franklin's story, and now that he's in the online component, this is definitely cool. But yeah, new stations are coming, just a whole new load of things like that, and then Lamar joining in with you as well. It's just a ton of fun. Man,
Lamar has got to be the standout character for me in that whole game. He's definitely my favorite, and I'm a little disappointed that there's no mention of OG Loke. He's in San Andreas. He's pivotal in the story, and perhaps this confirms that GTA 5 happens after that.
Oh, maybe. Scott, we got a few minutes. I want to jump into one last article, and then we'll wrap up for today. The Xbox Series X is the most popular console, at least according to Twitter users. The Xbox Series X proved popular with Twitter users, as did Forza Horizon 5. This comes from Sean over at Windows Central. Microsoft's Xbox Series X is more popular than Sony's PlayStation 5, at least according to a recent Twitter analyst over at Mobile Wins. Green Gaming looks at several aspects of gaming consoles each year, including power usage, player counts, platforms, compatibility, and the most popular games. It also uses Twitter sentiments analysts to determine how gamers feel about consoles and games. Twitter's sentiment analyst looks at tweets referencing a term in question and then assigns a positive or negative score. This year's findings shows that the Xbox Series X had more positive reviews from fans than the PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, and several older consoles. The PlayStation 4 received the most negative online score, according to Green Games analysts.
I think they probably just picked up all the comments about its amazing sound.
Well, who knows?
Every time I think of the PlayStation 4, that's what I remember is the floor vibrating from 20 feet above.
Man, it was something else. Yeah.
But the Series X leading the PS5, do you think that's because of the shortages?
Absolutely. I think it has something to play with the effect of that and why there aren't as many, right? People have a hard time getting one with either console, right? Whether it's still the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 5, but it does seem to be more on the PlayStation side of things that seem to be the struggle. Nobody can get their hands on it, and I think maybe that's got something to do with it, and that's why the negativity is coming over on Twitter. But I just thought it was an interesting little article. Is this the turnaround, Scott, for Xbox?
Oh, it very well could be, but I think it's that there's a little bit of an illusion going on because everybody is asking for this PlayStation 5. They all really want it, and that looks to me from the outside as a huge amount of popularity. Yeah. But I suppose if you look into the details of those comments there, I can't get one is basically most of them, I think. So
absolutely
that would be a negative. But
no, for sure.
It's hard to say. The PlayStation 4 bled it off really well. So the PS5 definitely could.
We'll see. Up. Scott, we got about 30 seconds left, dude. So let's get through this. What games are coming out today?
We have Eterna Noctis, and that's on the PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and the Switch. We have, it's a long list. We have Record of Lodos War, Deep Lit in Wonder Labyrinth. That's a curious title.
I saw that. I was whoa.
That appears on the Xbox One. Yep. We have Clid the Snail on PC. I believe you took a look at that one.
I did. It's really good. Go check it out. I played it on console as well. It's fantastic.
And lastly, we have Bridge Constructor, The Walking Dead.
Awesome. And that's going to wrap up today's show. Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. You can always join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube at Inside the Game Official. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. I'm Drew, that's Scott, and we'll see everybody tomorrow inside the game.